Welcome to the Life of Jessie, where we live life first class. I have A2I here with me today, and we're going to be talking about abundance and manifesting money, what we all love and need in life.
I'm super excited to learn a ton from you, and I hope that everybody doesn't forget to subscribe and like this video if they want more from Jessie.
For all the juicy goodness.
And there's a ton of it.
We've talked about this a bit since I've opened my own business and I've grown into who I am. I've come to realize that I was able to manifest and create everything that I physically have in my life right now.
Kind of like where you just control your own destiny.
Yes.
Like you can live, if you decide that you want something, you can just do it.
Totally. It's a belief and a decision.
And how did you get to that way of thinking? Because I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of people don't think like that. And they don't get that you can just decide that you want something and go do it. So how did you get to that point?
You're right. A lot of people don't think like that. And I didn't always think that way. Yeah, the struggle was real growing up. I mean, I grew up in a middle class family, life. And my parents are foreigners. And I have been working since I was 14. And I've just had a taste for something more in life. But never really knew how to get there. I mean, not that I didn't know how to get there.
Well, you might have known how to get to whatever you were taught at a young age, how to get to certain things, but to get to a higher level of
a higher level.
Starting a business and obtaining money abundance.
Yes.
That's
it's a mindset.
So how did you learn? How'd you learn that?
So I learned it through discomfort. I realized that I was never feeling good, and I was at the level that I was at financially, mentally, emotionally. It was because of where my mindset was. The thoughts that I was having were negative, and they weren't the nicest thoughts to myself.
I can relate.
And I didn't realize that I was even having that negative self-talk until I began to do work on myself and had a mentor and started to meet different people and see that there was a different lifestyle for me. And so that's how the shift began.
It's honestly crazy because I relate so much because if you would have seen my Facebook post 10 years ago, so negative. And then coming from that mindset and then getting into this new positive mindset and obtaining money abundance. A lot of people stay in that place, that place of negativity. What's different about Jessie? Or what are we gonna tell them how to get out of the negative mindset and get to the money abundance that a lot of people desire but don't believe that they can actually obtain it, or they're around people who kind of limit them?
Oh, there's so much good stuff to say about this. So my goal is to live a life that is limitless, to never be able to ever have to question or wonder if I could afford something if I want it. I'm going to be able to not have to ever look at the price of anything and just be able to buy it whenever I want to, or travel to wherever I want to go and stay at the most luxurious resorts and places. And so before, I didn't have that mindset. The mindset before was, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to do that? I could never afford that. So that's where it starts. It starts with your words and how you speak, because words vibrate at such a intense frequency. So if you're saying that you'd never be able to afford something or that you can't have that, then you're putting that into existence and into your reality. And so I began to start switching that whole dialogue and believing in myself and trusting that I can have it all.
That's 100%. A lot of people I feel just have that concept of I want a yacht. They're yep, not gonna be able to get it, so we're just gonna avoid that thought. But you're saying, have that thought more and more. Write it down. Think about that thought a lot.
Yes, think about that thought a lot. You have to believe that you can have it, because if the belief isn't there, you will not get it. You have to truly, in your deepest essence, believe it. And for a while, that was so challenging for me to do. And I was how if I might, in the deepest core, not understand this? But then you start writing it down, you fake it till you make it, and then you start to trust, and then things start to happen. And like
weird,
more
right?
money starts to flow in, and like more clients begin to call, and then like you just got asked to go on this amazing vacation to like this amazing resort. That's like fucking $10,000 a night.
That's nuts.
And then you're living it truly. And so it's pretty amazing.
Because a lot of people are like conditioned to like not have these thoughts. Like we're conditioned that like our friends are gonna make fun of us, and like, or like if we have these thoughts of like yachts, big dreams, you're like weird or not cool, or like it's weird. Like, you know what I mean? Does that happen?
I've had a lot of that throughout my life. And the other challenge is that it's challenging to meet other like-minded people who think the way that you do, and so then you feel uncomfortable with yourself and like, what's wrong with me, because no one around me has this bigger vision. So is something wrong with me? Do I want too much? And then it comes back down to like worthiness too, knowing your worth and knowing that you can have all of the things that you dream of and desire.
So if you guys have aspirations to have this type of concepts, they should definitely be at your channel, because then they're gonna get that message and be around it. So you're not around the normal people that are putting you inside the box, so they can get it here. So let's back up a little bit. What is money abundance? What does it mean exactly to you?
Like, you guys have all heard this saying of like, money does not bring happiness. Fuck that. Am I allowed to say fuck
Yeah,
that?
I just said the fuck it doesn't.
Yeah, fuck that.
so
That is bullshit. Whoever is telling you that is lying to you.
They're broke. No, I'm just kidding. No, literally when you started saying that, I go, the fuck it does under my breath, and I had no idea where you're going with it. So,
Yeah.
facts.
So-
If you know a channel that says that, avoid that channel.
Forever. Like, do not subscribe to that channel.
Unsubscribe, subscribe here, and then you can obtain money, abundance, and happiness.
Yes. Like, think of all the things that you could do with money. Okay, there's stress, and then there's financially flourishing and having all the abundance, and you're able to take your family on that amazing vacation. You're not stressing out about bills that you have to pay and like everything building up and collecting. You could pay things off and not have to worry about any debt. When you have the thought of debt, that is stopping the flow of money coming in, because space is taken from flow of energy of money that's able to come in, because there's that chunk of debt and that burden that's just sitting there. And so it's so important also financially for money to flow in for you to pay off any debts that you might have. Like when I owe someone money, I want to make sure to pay them right then and there so that it's not hanging over my head and I'm not thinking about it, and so that more money can be flowing back in. I think that it's really important that if you do have any debts, which is totally fine, like we've all been there, yeah, you want to clear out all that debt, like make payments on things, like pay whatever you can in that little smaller amount if you have to pay like the lowest balance that you can on something. But getting rid of that debt is like key. So it's so interesting. Earlier today, I was having a conversation with a client of mine, and she was just telling me about like a friend of hers that was a little bit older who had moved out of his family's house. Like being Middle Eastern, you're not supposed to move out of your family's house until you're like married. I didn't do that whole thing. I was like, I'm out, I'm going to New York City. So she was like, you know, his family was all like, oh, what are you gonna do? Go waste your money on rent? That's the biggest bullshit ever. There's no such thing that's lack mentality. That is lack mentality by saying you're going to waste your money on rent, because the energy that goes into leaving your family and not depending on your parents to continue to take care of you is an entire frequency of its own to create more abundance, financial freedom, separating yourself from this other person. Are you loving the juiciness of this?
Oh my God, people need to hear this.
Share with us what you're thinking.
Hearing this from somebody else who's doing it is amazing, because a lot of people get caught up in the concept like, I need my parents, if I leave my family, can I do it? Can I this? When you leave them, you are on your own, your body just adapts and starts to figure it out. That's how it was for me. I left right away when I was 18, and then a lot of people are like, why do you think this way? Why do you do this? If you put yourself in that situation, you'll push yourself to do everything that you're talking about. Like, you think it would be harder, but then you start finding ways to start your own business and stuff because you got out of there. And then especially being Chaldean, and like a lot of people are very focused on family living, they get so comfortable where that actually holds them back, and then they never flourish.
Yes, and then there ends up being like this big codependency of depending on the other person. And that's where I feel like a lot of women end up like, fuck, this is a great one to do too. You guys stay tuned because there will be a whole entire video on this one about how women just end up marrying for like financial security. They don't really like do anything with their lives and they just become like a stay-at-home wife, and then they're in this crummy, shitty relationship with this guy and they can't get out of it because they become so dependent on him financially, and then it just is so disempowering, and it's really sad to even like when I see that.
It really is sad to see, and that's why I respect you so much for doing all this.
Yes, and I
that
think
is normal. Like
love that.
Females doing that.
Yeah, and that was the driving force, was that I never want to ever have to depend on anyone ever in my life except for my own self, and like I want to always be able to know that I could handle anything and everything on my own if I ever had to. I mean, of course, everyone wants that soulmate, that partnership, but that's what it is. It's a partnership. Financially, that's a great topic too, actually. Financially, you want to be on the same wavelength and frequency as your significant other, or like to grow together. But yeah.
And I think in the future you'll talk about relationship stuff too, but we kind of talked about getting to a certain point and then focusing on relationships, because you're going to be more prone to being in a toxic relationship if you don't have the money. Once again, financial freedom, happiness, money kind of helps with the happiness of a relationship too, because if you never get there, go into a relationship, then you depend on them. So
oh, totally.
That's huge.
So the most challenging thing is to honestly find that soulmate or that love partner if your finances aren't in order, because then you aren't feeling satisfied, fulfilled, or safe in your own personal life. Because again, financial freedom brings security, safety, and that confidence. So in order for you to meet that match level frequency of that partnership, you need to be vibrating on that higher frequency that you desire to be with. And if you're down here financially and not vibrating at that higher frequency, or you have a lack mentality about your finances, or you feel like you're not going to make money, or you're not making money, then you're going to attract that same level of frequency in a partner.
So like creating the best you for a relationship, to get into a relationship, because exactly what you're saying, if you're not the best you're going to be settling down here, and I guarantee you're not going to be happy.
No.
Which, once again, because you're with somebody that is at a lower level rather than getting somebody at like this higher level. And not necessarily just like materialistic and we're just talking like money, but the overall concept of energy, drive, because when you have money abundance, it's a different mental state, a different energy that you give off. So in order to get somebody at your level, you got to create the best of you.
My amazing grow serum. So this is Jessie's hair therapy. It's my product line, and each individual product has its own name for it. So this is grow your hair, grow your mind, grow your life, grow your finances. Yeah, check it out. You can order it online, www.jessiefrancishairandwellness.com. You can find that link below, and be sure to hit the subscribe button and follow Jessie and A2I right here. Love it. Love life. So yeah, Jessie Francis, live life first class, always and forever.